Welcome, folks. This is EachOne, ReachOne. I appreciate your time. Let's get back into another one today. Yahawah has given us the blessing of another day, and I got another breath. In which, and with the breath that I have right now, man, I'm gonna use it to the benefit of His ministry. And so I pray that you guys rock with me on this one because I know there's a lot of you out there that need this. Like I said, I understand Israelites are being awakened every day. All right. Gentiles of the other nations are being awakened every day and they're seeking the truth. They're running away from the church because they know the church is teaching them lies, and they're seeking our brothers like myself, and they are thirsty for knowledge. They want to understand. They want to know what they're supposed to be doing in these times and what's appropriate, what's not, and so forth. And so to help everybody get a better understanding of what um, has been, what is, and what's to come, we gotta bring these scriptures out. See, many Christians have a hard time understanding what we teach regarding, the New Testament, and that the Gentiles that are being preached to in the New Testament are um, also Israelites, right? They don't get it because they don't understand the history of Israel. And so wording is tripping them up because they just can't conceive how these Gentiles are actually Israelites, because in their mind, when they see the word Jew, that refers to all of Israel. And they don't understand the captivities of Israel, and that even among Judah, there are those Judites who are of the circumcision and those who are not. Not all of Judah, aka all of the Jews, were were of the circumcision. Those who were not of the circumcision were considered Gentiles. But again, I'm not going to hold it too long. I just want to bring this out so that they can get brought up to speed so that they can understand. Because, as much as we teach about, the Gentiles in the New Testament, it doesn't really help them if they don't have a historical background to draw from. So let's go ahead and get into it with that being said, by giving all praise, honor, and glory to our Father Yahawah, in the name of our King Hamashiach, Yahawashi, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right. Again, thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing. We're going to start in Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8. And you see vision of the ram and goat. Daniel was given a vision of a ram and a goat. We're not going to get the vision. We're just going to skip right down to him giving the interpretation of the vision. All right. So let's just come down to verse 20. So this is the interpretation of the vision being given. All right. The ram's identity. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Now, keep in mind, at this time, this is during the captivity in Babylon. All right. Daniel's been given prophecy of future captivities that are coming for Judah. All right. So at this time, the northern kingdom Israelites went into their Assyrian captivity. Some of the Judah, some of Judah went into the Assyrian captivity, but those who are in the Babylonian captivity, um, like Daniel himself, this is what's being prophesied to come after the captivity to the Babylonians. And so the first part of his vision is explaining to him the captivity that takes place directly after um, the Babylonian captivity, which is the Persian and Median captivity. All right. And so the ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Verse 21, the goats, the goat, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, the king of Greece, because they were going to the Greek captivity after the Median and Persian captivity. All right. So first the Babylonian captivity that they're under. Then they're going to go into captivity to the Persians and the Medes. And then after that, they're going to go into captivity under the Grecians, under the Greeks, under Alexander the Great, as they call him. All right. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And so this is talking about his kingdom of Greece is going to be broken up and split into four different factions. All right. And so this, as you can see, the prophecy of the Greek captivity. See, many Gentiles, heathens, they don't understand the many captivities of Judah. All right. They have no idea that the Judites went into captivity to the Greeks, but it's prophesied right here. See, we're going to go into the Apocrypha to also bring this out, but I wanted to start here because many Gentiles don't even believe that they should read the Apocrypha because they believe the Apocrypha isn't canon and so forth, because that's what they were taught. They were taught to stay away from it for a reason. All right. So that all of this truth doesn't come out. All right. But what they, again, they don't understand is they never ask themselves is, wait a minute, there's prophecies of a Greek captivity, but we never read about a Greek captivity if you don't read the Apocrypha. So what happened? Did the prophecies fail? All right, because we read about, after the Babylonian captivity, they go into the Median and Persian captivity. We read about that. We read about Cyrus and so forth, right? But then we don't really read much about the Greek captivity. We just all of a sudden pop up in the New Testament, and it's the Roman captivity, which followed the Greek captivity. So they're completely missing the Greek captivity. So when they read the scriptures, they can't really understand and follow along with what's going on because they're missing too much information. All right. So let's go to Daniel chapter 11. And now, and now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet three kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. So you see, he said he will stir up everyone against the kingdom, the realm of Grecia. All right. And the mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. This is Alexander the Great, all right, of Grecia. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven. That's what we just finished reading. And not to his posterity, because he didn't have any children, nor according to his dominion which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. Right? Because after that, the Romans would come through and take over. All right. This is how the Romans end up adopting all of these different gods and so forth of the Greeks, of the Grecians, but then just calling them by another name. All right. So you see the Israelites will go from the Babylonian captivity to the Medo-Persian captivity to the Greek captivity and to the Roman captivity where the New Testament picks up. All right. So let's go into First Maccabees in the Apocrypha, First Maccabees chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 41. All right. So keep in mind, this is Israel. This is Judah under Greek authority, under the Greek captivity. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom of Grecia that all should be one people, that all should be one people. This is including the Judites who are in their captivity. And everyone should leave his laws, meaning the Judites should leave their own laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. All right. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. See, this is the reason why there was those who were not of the circumcision. When they went to those who were not of the circumcision, you constantly hear the circumcision and then the uncircumcision, the circumcised and the uncircumcised, right? Because it's talking about the uncircumcised Israelites, all right? Those who had gone through the Greek captivity and who had gone away from the laws of our God. They were no longer following him. They were no longer following the customs and the traditions of our forefathers. They had become one in all the same as the Grecians. All right? They're still Israelites by blood, but they were Greek nationals. All right? Greeks by nationality and custom and tradition, thereby making them Gentiles. Okay? It says, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. That was the goal, was to get the Israelites to forget their law and change all their ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So by threat of death, the Israelites were converted to the ways of the Grecians. Some chose death, but many chose to live, and so they had to convert. All right. So when the disciples in the New Testament were going out to gather the Gentiles and try to convert them, they were trying to convert their brethren back to the law, to convert them back to their God. They were trying to bring them back. That's what reconciliation was about when you hear the gospel of reconciliation. You can only reconcile with somebody that you had a falling out with, not somebody you've never met. The Most High had no relationship with the other nations for them to fall out and need reconciliation. Only Israel did. You're hearing about the fallout and how they went away, how we went away from him, and why reconciliation was necessary, why it was needed. All right. So let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. 2 Maccabees chapter 6. We are going to start from the top. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of Yahawah, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with wisdom within the circuit of the holy place. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. See, these are Israelite Gentiles. Because still at the time, some of the Israelites, some of the Judites were trying to keep the law, were trying to stay faithful. But others had already converted and conformed to being Grecians. So there's this problem, this issue between Judah, the citizens of Judah, those who wanted to hold on to the law and those who wanted to be like the Grecians, and they were scared, and so they were compelled, to transform, to convert, right? And part of what they did as their loyalty was that they went to pollute the temple. All right, because people will do that. Just like if you run into police right now, as a black man, the worst thing you want to encounter is a black cop. Oh, they're worse than the white ones. They're worse than the non-black cops. All right, because they gotta prove that they're down, that they hate you as much as the rest of them hate you. All right, so they go harder on you. They do you much worse than the others. They go far and above and beyond what the others will do in order to be accepted and not outcast or ostracized. Nothing different here. All right. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. You couldn't even profess yourself to be a Jew. It was against the law to say, I'm a Jew. So what do you think happened? People stopped calling themselves Jews. If they stopped calling themselves Jews, what did they start to call themselves then? Greeks, Grecians. They became Gentiles. They were no longer considered by themselves or the Most High to be Judites, to be Jews, to be Israelites. They were now Gentiles. They had become one with the enemy. All right. And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. You see what's going on here? And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. This is how the Israelites in the New Testament became known as Gentiles. They conformed to the manners of the Gentiles, thereby making themselves Gentiles. All right. Then might a man have seen the present misery. For there were two women brought who had circumcised their children. They're breaking the law of the land, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes handing at their breasts, probably hanging is probably what that meant to say, hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. So, as you can see, is what they were up against, what they faced, and the horrible things that they encountered when they tried to keep the law. So over time, many of them and most of them were beaten down until they just conformed. All right. Those are who are spoken of in the New Testament as Gentiles. And that's what it's meant in the scripture when it says there is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither Jew nor Greek. All right. There is neither Jew nor Greek, meaning there's no longer a separation between the circumcision and the uncircumcision, aka there is no difference anymore or division. There we go. There's no more any division between the Israelites who are keeping the law and those who are not keeping the law and traditions. All right, that's what it was about. Was removing the middle wall of partition that was between the family, that was keeping the family apart. So this wasn't very long or extensive. It didn't need to be, but this was just enough bite-sized portion of history to understand what's going on in the New Testament. All right, that's the state of Israel, the state of Judah when we pick up in the New Testament. All right, it's the Roman captivity which followed the Greek captivity. The Romans didn't come in and say, all right, well, we no longer require you guys to be Gentiles and to go after other customs anymore. Now you guys need to all convert back. That didn't happen. They stayed in the same manner in which, the Romans took them captive in. All right. So all praise, honor, and glory belongs to our Father Yahawah in the name of our beloved King Hamashiach Yahawashi. I pray that you guys were all blessed and benefited from this, that those of you who needed this, you got what you needed out of this. And those of you who know somebody who needs this lesson, share it with them, send it to them. All right. And may they be blessed by it as you were. I will see you guys on the next one. Yahawah willing, of course. Each one, reach one. Shalom.